be very afraid if I start going up and down the aisles.
As you can read, this is hope.
Good morning. It's been a long time since we shared with you about the ministry, and I just want to let you know that in the last, I think it's been about 5 years, we talked about maybe that it's been since I've been here. We were just starting out then. Your church has been one of our most original supporters from day one, and we have grown. It's been almost unbelievable how God has blessed what we're doing. So some of the things we're doing are a lot different than what we talked about when I was here before. We're called This Is Hope. We became a 401k back in about, I'm not a 401, I wish I had a 401k. We became a 501c3 back in 2017, but I've been traveling to Uganda since 2013. So we called it This Is Hope, and this is our verse. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts her mouth. So, oh wait, I get to do this. Okay. This is Hope is a nonprofit founded to provide hope to vulnerable women, children, and elderly people by assisting, supporting, and strengthening communities with improved healthcare, nutrition, and education. This is the hope we have through Jesus. This is a map of Africa so that you can kind of see where we're at. In the little red box is Uganda. So it's a very small country, and it's one of the poorest countries in Africa. So you'll hear a lot of people working in that area from around here, which is kind of surprising. But I think when people go on missions trip, then they come home and then they want to get involved. And somehow Uganda got started here. And then the area that we work in Uganda now is Moroto. When we first started, we were all over Uganda. We basically were distributing birthing kits to women. We were helping people get surgeries. I had gone on a trip and noticed that as a nurse, there were a lot of things that I felt I could help with, just with transportation to a doctor's appointment or education on malaria or the clean water. But over the last few years, God has, I knew I was supposed to be with the Karamojong, but I didn't know how to get there. So over the last couple of years, God made a way for us to work with this tribe, and they are out in the Moroto area. There's about 5 regions of them. They are the poorest of the poor in Uganda. I think it's in the 1600s, they migrated down from Ethiopia, and part of the tribe went to Uganda, and part of the tribe went to Kenya, which is there to the left, or right. So the area that we're in is beautiful. It's got Mount Elgon is right there that separates Kenya and Uganda. So they kind of split there, and then they were cattle people, but they don't really have a lot of their own land, but they just kind of landed there and then really didn't get much help from the government. So that's the place God called us, Moroto, and we work with the Karamojong. This is some of the scenery. It is absolutely gorgeous there. I'm in awe every time I'm there. I just stare. But this is what their little community would look like up in the top corner. They literally have the huts like you think of. When you think of Africa, that's where we're at. They build their huts out of mud, and then they use like that or like reeds and things like that to make the roof. All right, so This Is Hope. We have quite a few programs going on in the area right now. We have a children's outreach ministry that we're doing. It's very dry in the Moroto area, so they're not able to grow food real well. So water is a real problem for them. And so there was a lot of kids that were not getting food at all. The first time I went there, I was literally afraid because I thought the kids were going to attack us. They were so desperate. If you've ever seen I don't like to refer them as animals, but their behavior was very scary. They were so desperate. So we started working with them, and we offer a porridge program for them. So they get to come to our land, which we just purchased, they get to come 4 times a week and receive a cup of porridge. And for them, that is their only meal ever. So there's a couple days a week that they don't get anything. The Karamojong are known for going into the other populated areas and digging through the garbage for food. So this is a huge program for them to get a cup of porridge 4 times a week. The men's outreach we're going to talk about. We have an elderly outreach, a hygiene kit outreach, birthing kit outreach. We have a pastor encouragement outreach, which is really exciting. We do visit the prison in the area on a regular basis, and then we have emergency baby needs that come up that we help with. So we started with about 50 children. We had to make a number because there were so many kids. So we started with 50, and now we're averaging anywhere from 150 to 200. It depends on the day. So like yesterday they had an outreach, and he said while they were still counting, they had 165, but last Saturday they were up to 193. They meet 4 times a week. They get to learn about Jesus. They receive your basic early education. So like counting the days of the week, just the very, very minimal colors. They learn good hygiene because they don't have good water sources and they don't have money for soap. So we're teaching them how to bathe regularly, wash their hands. So we do that, and then they receive a cup of porridge. I'm going to show you a little video of them later, so it'll make more sense. Here's some of the pictures of our kids. When we first started, we had no shelter. So the kids were sitting out in the sun. This area is right at the equator, so it's very hot. And a couple of the kids, the moms were so excited that we were there. They spent the few shillings they had on some paper so that the kids could write down what they were learning. And so now when we go, we see them, they write on the side of their huts, today is Thursday. So everybody's learning, but they do not act like they used to act. They're much more controlled, and because they're not so desperate. They know that we're going to be there 4 times a week for them. So it's really made a huge difference in the community. So we have 2 of the little shelters for 2 classes. We started with 1, added a second one. It's just, I think the best pictures are on the bottom of the classes. We are looking to hire teachers now so that we can actually be a school, but we aren't there yet. So. And then the porridge program, they're really they cook the porridge, big pots of this. It's like a flour and milk porridge. And then the kids have the cups, and they know to take them into this little tub where we wash them. We also offer medical to them. We have a doctor in the area that comes out and does deworming for us because the children have so much trouble with that. So about every 3 months, every 6 months, we have someone go out and give them all deworming tablets. We teach them how to take a bath. Some of them have never had a bath. And then I had to use the little leaves because I got in trouble on Facebook for that. All right. The men's outreach was important to us because in their culture is, it's very different than our culture. So they believe the women should work all the time. Like the men are lazy. They lay around outside under a tree. The women build the houses. The women go out and forage for food. The women do it all. So what we wanted to do was we want to make a lasting impact in this community. So we're teaching them how they should treat their families in God's word. So we've got a group of men. I think we average around 20. They meet once a week. They learn about Jesus. They learn about the man's role in the family. They get a cup of porridge and a slice of bread, and they pray for each other. And we have gotten them to actually work on projects together. So it's been really exciting to watch the change in that. Even though it's 20 men, it's going to start making a generational change as they go. This is some of our men. Those hats are Karamojong hats. You'll see those in all of my pictures because that's their attire that they wear. And then they put ostrich feathers in. It's a sign of status in the community. So they find these things to decorate their hats with. And that's Pastor Elijah that's teaching them. We also do regular haircuts in the community so that the kids don't have, um, uh, my brain is going, not so much lice, but like scabies, not scabies, but like they get that bacteria and stuff in their heads because they don't wash. And so we cut their hair in order to help with that. The elderly outreach has really grown in the last year. We started out with 5 elderly people, and now we have 20, and we still have 5 more waiting. They meet once a week. They learn about Jesus. They get a weekly package of food, which is just a portion of flour. They get some vegetables, like their greens, they call them, and then we give them a loaf of bread and a package of milk because those are things they just don't have. So it's really making a big difference. When they come into our program, they get a mattress and a blanket because none of them have ever had a mattress or a blanket. And so we had one guy that was carrying it everywhere he went because he was afraid someone would steal it from him. And another guy asked if there would be mattresses in heaven. So I thought that was cool. They pray for each other. They've become like this little group that supports each other. And we've still got 5, I think at least 5 that show up and just wait and hope that we're going to add them to the group, but we have to be careful with the budget. So eventually we're going to add them when we can. And then This is Hope provides them a dignified burial. In the Karamojong, they just dig a hole and put them in the ground. And there's a lot of fear about death. So we're teaching them about heaven, and we give them a casket so that their body doesn't float away when the next rainstorm comes. I know that sounds awful, but there's Elijah is our pastor, and that's oh shoot, I'm not thinking very good today. Oh well. Down here in this corner, you'll see like this picture here. That was Apollo when we found him. He was going to die very soon. And then this is him now on the right. So just that weekly help is making a huge difference for the elderly in the community. We also will, if they're sick, we'll bring a doctor out to them and check them out. There's their mattresses and blankets. Group hug. I love that picture. Hygiene kits we've been doing for many years, but we finally have a location that we've settled in, which is Moroto. So the girls there don't have any hygiene products for when they have their menses. So we have churches around the area. In fact, we're needing more. So if you're someone who knows how to sew, see me afterwards. They're making these reusable hygiene pads for the girls. So we work with mostly the younger girls, like teenage years into their young adult life. They meet once a month. Again, they learn about Jesus. They receive hygiene education on how to be clean. They get a wash basin and some soap, and then they get the reusable hygiene pads and a couple pair of underwear, which they call knickers. And then we're going to start giving them a small snack when they come, because that's the only group right now that we're not giving it like a piece of fruit or something to, because again, they don't eat very often. This group we're having led by the local VHT, which is the Village Health Tech. They have people in their communities that they know how to use a Band-Aid, I guess. They're not nurses, but they have some very small level of knowledge. And because of the language barrier, we needed somebody who could communicate with them. So we do have a lady that works with them. This is an example of the pads and the underwear and the soap in the basin. Those are so popular, and we take cases of those every time we go. These are the girls getting their basins, their pads. These girls, their job in the community is to carry firewood down from the mountain into Moroto, the city center, and they carry these big, huge logs on their head. And so not not to be insensitive, but can you imagine young ladies in the group starting your period and having to carry that down the mountain and you have nothing to stop it? So there's just, it's such a huge need for these girls. Birthing kit outreach is another one. We've loved doing this one. We are just now really kicking this off this year. We had 70 ladies show up this last week. They're going to meet monthly and learn about Jesus. Jesus is always the first thing we teach them about. They're going to get basic education on prenatal care, nutrition. They receive a birthing kit. And that includes, I'll just tell you, it's the first item on the table as you leave. I've set up there's food, like a sample of food, and then there's the birthing kits, and then the hygiene kits. So if you want to see like what we distribute, there's samples out there of them. So they get a plastic birthing sheet, razor blade. I won't read all of this, but in Uganda, you have to take your own supplies, right up to the bleach that they use to clean up after you've given birth. If you don't do that, they don't take you in right away. Like sometimes they won't take you at all. So some of these girls are going to the hospital and getting turned away when they're trying to give birth. We have had so much good feedback on these birthing kits. The girls say that now when they go to the hospital, the workers take them first because they have the supplies they need. This is a couple pictures of the bag, and we like to put clothes in them. That's something that none of the other ministries are doing over there because they literally will take off the only shirt they have and wrap the baby in it and take them home. So we wanted to give them something to put on the baby. Some of the girls that come, we usually bag them up while we're there. We don't take them already assembled. So that one picture shows us putting them together. These are newer pictures. And so what we're going to do now is we have a baby scale, and we bought the scale because we had a set of twins that were severely malnourished and we wanted to monitor them. So now part of this program will be weighing the babies regularly to make sure that they're not getting in danger of getting too small. Pastor encouragement outreach. This is one that I'm really excited about. Pastor Elijah was telling me one day that there was a group of pastors that they would get together every so often and meet. And a lot of them have never been to any kind of education. Like they've never had college for how to preach or read the Bible or share the gospel. So Elijah has had that. And so he meets with these men and he shares information with them. Like he teaches them things in the Bible. There's about 12 of them. They meet twice a month and they come to our office. They study the Bible and they get educational material. We always let them have like a cup of coffee or tea and a snack. They pray for each other in their community and they encourage each other. So we found out that a lot of them, the Bibles that they had, there was like 40 pages missing out of them. So like they didn't even have a complete Bible. So the last trip we went on in October, we bought all of the pastors new Bibles so that they would have at least a Bible. Then we found out that most of them in this group, one of them walks up to 7 miles to get to his congregation. 7 miles every time he goes to preach. And so we decided as a group that what we would like to do, and this is our current campaign that we're running right now, is we want to purchase bicycles for these pastors so that they can at least ride a bicycle 7 miles instead of walking 7 miles to their congregation. This is the best way for us to be spreading the gospel. You know, we don't have to do it, but we can supply somebody with the tools they need. So right now we're doing a fundraiser. Each bicycle is going to cost about $150. We need at least 11 of them. If we raise more than that, we're going to use the extra money for a small little sound, like a microphone speaker thing, so that our pastor can go down into Moroto and do street preaching. So whatever extra we have, we're going to use it for that. This is Pastor Elijah. He goes at least once a month. He goes to the prison. We see the women and the men. You want to talk about worship, you should listen to these 30 women that are in prison there sing to God, because it's something you'll never hear until you get to heaven. It's amazing. A lot of them are imprisoned for wrong thing. Like they don't get justice there. They don't get justice. They can get put in prison for anything that is a false accusation and sit there forever because there's no one to get them out. So we wanted to at least supply them with some hope. So we take them a box of soap just so they have something to wash with. The prisons don't have a lot of stuff like this. This is third world country stuff. This isn't like, they don't have rights like we do in America. They don't get a TV. They don't get a cot. The men sometimes share a space, maybe the size of the pews right here, and they can't even lay down. There's too many of them. So this is really important to them because this shows them that somebody cares and that Jesus cares about them. So we deliver soap to them and the hygiene pads to the girls. I talked about the twins. We had this little boy on the right show up to class with this baby on his back every day. And we're like, where is this baby coming from? And so we found out that his mom had given birth to twins. So because mom has to go out and dig in the garbage for food, she would take one and she would send the other one with this boy to come to porridge program. So he was trying to feed this newborn baby porridge with his finger. And so that's how we discovered this family. So long story short, we started providing them with formula. They do have cans of formula there. They're very hard to get because people can't afford them. So we've monitored them for the last 6 months. They are now at the point where they can eat some porridge. So we're going to probably back off on the formula. But when we find families like that, we step in and try to help the babies. They are so tiny, and they'll probably always be tiny, but at least they're not dead. Miscellaneous things that we work on. Sorry if rats gross you out, but I have to tell you, they said this was the most impactful thing we did in their community. When we first started working in their community, they kept coming up to us and saying that the rats were biting them. They were eating their feet and their hands, and they couldn't sleep at night because these rats wouldn't leave them alone. So we purchased rat traps, and we took them out, and we sprayed their huts for ants, and we gave them a rat trap. That's from one night that lady caught all those rats. And now they're rat free. Like the rats go away. So it's like they said that was one of the best things we did for them. This is just some more pictures of like the kids getting haircuts, the washing stations that we have, the cups that we use for porridge. Okay. And then some immediate needs we have. So just in this year alone, like since October, we have purchased an acre of land. We have put a fence on it. We have built 2 structures for children to receive classes. We put 2 hand washing stations out. That all was done up until just this last week. And then one of our biggest needs was we needed clean water. So this is the water that the women are using. It doesn't make sense. They wash their clothes, they drink it, it's mud. It's not even just mud, it's feces, it's animal feces. So it was kind of pointless. I'm not really quite sure why they washed anything in it because it was just as dirty, if not dirtier, when they were done. So we were praying for a well, and we had a donation come in for a well, and God took that money and he doubled it. We had enough money to do a borehole well, just like your usual pump well, because this community has like such limited access to water. And God blessed us with a group of men over there who do well digging. They wanted to give, every year they try to bless a community. They gave us a modern well. So we took what would have cost for a borehole well, and we got more. So we have, this is so exciting, has 3 spigots, so 3 people can get their water at the same time. We have this big holding tank with a solar panel that pumps the water up into that tank so that we always have a day's worth behind. And then we also, inside the fence, we did this for the community, but then on the inside of our fence, we have a spout for us. So as we grow, we've got fresh water too. So I was reading this text to my husband when I came in, when we were coming. They have not had access to clean water in this community that's within walking distance for over 25 years. Over 25 years, they've not had any clean water. So this is huge for them. We also want to, well, there's our fence, but we do need to raise some money for legal fees. That we need to register the land, or else someone will try to grab it. It's there's a lot of land grabbing over there. We have done everything we can legally, but our lawyer said we really should finish it off by doing that. We need to, we've named our school. It's going to be called Rise and Shine. So these are some of the kids that come, and what we would like to do is hire at least one teacher this year. That's the bell that he used to ring to let the kids know that we were meeting. But the kids definitely need some kind of education and some hope. So we're hoping to hire a teacher this year. I talked about the bicycles, so we want to help. This is our office, by the way. We want to help those pastors be able to make more impact in their community. And we need a pit latrine. There are no places to use the bathroom there except a bush. So they've been doing it since the beginning of time. When we go, we have to wear rubber boots because it's bad. So because I'm a nurse and Stephanie helped me get this running, she's a nurse practitioner, we really wanted to focus on health. And so everything boils down to water and hygiene. So many diseases get spread by not having clean water and by all of this human feces contaminating the water sources. So this is our next big project. We want to do this and we want to have a little bit bigger one so that we can have shower stations. They're not really showers. They'll take a bucket of the water that we have on our property and go into this little area and bathe, so that they can do that while they're on our property. This is our van on the left there, and then that's our office on the right. And then this is just some ways that you can help us. Prayer is so important to us. And of course, financial donations, but I'll tell you, the prayer, I'm not being corny, the prayer really helps. I had a trip where I went on it, and right before I left on the trip, I had a group of Bible study people that I was meeting with pray, and that was the best trip I've ever had. And we accomplished so much, and it just really does make a difference. If you're on Facebook, if you share our page, that helps spread the word. We desperately need people that know how to sew and or crochet. We take little baby hats with us for the birthing kits. We usually have an Amazon wish list that you can help us with. I think I went faster than I thought I would. So I have a little video that I'll close with. You guys are going to love me because you'll get to go to lunch faster, right? I can't thank you enough for helping us. You guys have been so instrumental in helping. This is Hope from day one. From day one, you've helped us, and you're making such an impact in this community.
Father in heaven, we thank you for our porridge of today, Saturday. We thank you for your love. We love you. Mwah. Mwah. Okay, baby, clap for Jesus. 1, 2, 3, we go. Okay. Thank you for your love. Thank you for providing and thinking about us, the girls of Moroto, Karamoja.
Now, does anybody have any questions for her?
Where they send the sew or crochet materials, supplies and such, if they can't sew or crochet.
Well, the long-term goal will be to teach a group of ladies how to sew. But it's hard to find the fabric there. So right now we're taking them, but eventually that would be our goal, is to have like a learning center on our property so that they can make them themselves. They're not hard to make. We just haven't gotten to that point yet. The crochet baby hats, I don't know if they have ever done crochet there, but we have a lot of people who want to help us, but they don't want to give financially. Some people like to donate items. We're a consumer-driven America. Everybody likes to go buy stuff and give you. So we tried to think of items that we could take with us that would be something someone can do here. So like if someone likes to crochet, that gives them an outlet to use their skills, and they're light enough that we can get them over there without too much trouble. So that is something we would love to do. They're also starting like crafts for us to bring back. You're gonna see on the table like a weird shaped stool. They use those for pillows. They're not comfortable, but this is how the men lay around in the field and sleep, is with this thing under there. They carry it around with members. So we're getting them to start making those and some other items so we can bring them back and sell them to raise money. So they're working on that. And we talked about having somebody learn how to make jewelry, but their jewelry is different than the jewelry we used to bring home. They like to use the little tiny beads that everybody uses over here. So when you bring them back, people don't get the importance of it. So we kind of steered away from that. The community is about 120 years behind society. So they're really primitive that we're working on. Did I answer?
I was just wondering where someone would send to.
Oh, okay, sorry, to my house. Or call me and I'll come get them. I will come get them.
You have a certain pattern that you follow
Yes.
for the.
There's I laid some copies of the patterns on the table out there. There's patterns for the hygiene pads and patterns for the little bags that we like to give the girls to carry their pads in. We call them mini bags. For the Birkin kits, we use our backpacks. That seems to be pretty popular. We've talked about using something cheaper for us to provide, but it's such an impact in their community when they get to have one of those for bags. I can't do it. I don't know. I'm just gonna probably spend the extra money and take them a blue bag. I don't know. I had some T-shirts. I took the men's group from a place that I worked that closed down. They were ORC recovery T-shirts. I work for substance abuse people. So we gave them out to the men, and now the men think that that's their uniform. So they all want this T-shirt, and I don't have anymore because the place closed down. So they're real funny about that. That gives them a sense of pride, and they're really neat people. They really are. We were afraid of them when we first started working with them because they're known for violence. We had to have police go with us to control the crowd when we did food distributions. But now we don't have that problem because they know us, they trust us. Most Ugandans won't go out to Cameroon because they're afraid of them.
So this is really a cool group of people to be working with. But what a neat place to spread the gospel. I don't know how much further out in the movie you could get than this, so God's really opened some big doors for us.
So any donations, how do you guys do that? Can we just care for one individual, or is it like a group thing,
Like a
we
sponsor
donate
thing?
money to?
We should do a group thing right now because we have so many people, and so we're trying to help them as a group. We were talking about doing a sponsorship for the elderly people because there was a small control group of that, but we haven't implemented that yet. We may in the future, but right now all donations go to our monthly budget. Our budget runs just under 2,000 a month for all these programs that we're doing. And then the fundraiser we're doing right now is for the bicycles for the pastor. So I guess you can think of it as sponsoring one pastor, if you wanted to buy one bicycle. In the future, I'm not sure how we'll go forward. I've been involved in child sponsorship before, and it's very difficult to get people to continue on a regular basis, so they're constantly. And in their country, they find out they have a sponsor and they feel like they're king or queen, okay? They're like, you're their sponsor for the rest of their life, even if you stop sponsoring them. I mean, you have made that big of an impact on them. So it's very difficult to do child sponsorship programs with this many kids. So I think we're gonna try to do it in some different ways.
As a group?
Yeah, I just think it's more fair.
Yeah, I think
And
it's-
even the child sponsorship programs, if you want to know the truth, probably doesn't just go to that one child. They're using that child to get you to donate for that child, and you can communicate with them, but that money is usually put in a pot so that all the kids benefit from it. School is gonna be a big thing in this community. Once we start getting a teacher involved, we right now just have Pastor Elijah teaching them the basics, and we've got a baby class and we've got a little bit older class. So we need a teacher to take the older kids. And I told my husband this, if you guys come up with any names, I've got 70 babies coming up that I gotta have names for. They expect us to name their children. I don't know that many names. So if you have a good name you wanna recommend, let me know. Right now, we have 4 that are waiting for names. We had 70 ladies in this last pregnancy group. 40 of them are ready to give birth in the next month or 2. So we're gonna have all these babies, and I should touch also on the fact that people will say to us, well, why don't they stop having babies? What happens is, because I could talk about this all day long and still not talk about everything. Those girls that you saw get those hygiene pads, they have to travel in groups of like a couple of girls together, because the men, because of their culture and their backwards thinking, they will kidnap a girl, 13-year-old girl, keep her in their hut until they get her pregnant. Because then they have a worker. They have someone that's gonna take care of them the rest of their lives. She's gonna go look for food, she's gonna build a house, she's gonna be the workhorse. So it's not a matter of wanting to have babies, there's a lot of rape that goes on over there. We were working in the past with kids as young as 4 years old that were being raped. This group, what we're also, and also they're thinking in all of Uganda, you really not just this tribe, it's the more kids they have, the more field workers they have. So, you know, it's not about, oh, I'm gonna have this child and send them to school and make sure they get a great education. They're thinking, okay, I got 2 more hands and 2 more feet to work in the fields when the students are old enough. So that's just their culture. So we're trying to work with them. We have in the past talked at least 1 or 2 women into having surgery to stop getting pregnant. But to them, why would you stop that? You know, and then in some women we talk to, it's really important for them to have a male child. So they'll have babies until they get a male. But we're educating them. We're trying to keep them better. If you know any good names, like that, because I had a whole bunch of babies today coming up, and then that's going to be more kids for the school. So we're really trying to plan ahead.
How long are you there?
Even a year.
Yeah. Like how many times?
We try to go at least twice a year. Ideally, I'd like to go 3 times a year, 2 times to take teams, 1 time for just me to handle legal matters and meet with our attorney and go, we're usually gone a total of about 14 days, which gives us 10 days in country.
Oh,
So it takes us about 2 days to get there and a day and a half or so to get back because of the time difference. So they're ahead of us 8 hours right now, I think. Yeah, with the time change coming up. But because it's so hard to get there, we try to stay as long as we can. So when we take a team, we usually try to make sure it's not too long because people aren't used to it. And they have cockroaches the size of my driver's license. Just saying. I learned to travel.
when you're there.
There is like a hotel in Morocco. Most of the time we would try to find like a guest house, because we're Americans and we like hot water and we like to flush the toilet. So, we're spoiled. But in Morocco, very close to where we are now located, we have a place that we can stay that's like a really bad hotel. But, I've learned to carry, bugs for like roach killer with me. Oh my gosh, they're good. But anyway, so sometimes people can't handle that, so we try not to shock them too much and take them too long. Give them a little piece. You know, a lot of times there's no hot water. But, you know, you're in Africa.
Now, what is their native language?
This tribe, we has their own language of Karamantan, but they teach English in their schools. So if the kids are lucky enough to go to school, they learn English. If not, they speak their local, I think there's like 60 plus tribes in Uganda, there's a lot of different tribes. A lot of them speak Swahili, a lot of them will speak Ugandan. I have a Bible on the table that is in Ugandan because we were working with people that were more in that language. Now we need to get a Karamantan Bible to show you because they have their own language. And unfortunately, a lot of them, even if they get a Bible in their own language, they don't know how to read. So it's very important. That's why we really want to focus on these pastors taking the word, because even if they have their Bible, they may not be able to understand or read it. Bibles come later when we have like an established congregation, or we've got school going on, where we've got kids that know how to read, so they can read it to their parents. It's fascinating, I love it. I love it. Anybody ever wants to know? I'm probably leaving at the end of April again. So we usually go April, at the end of April, and sometime in like October, November. Those seem to be the times that the airlines are the cheapest. With everything going on right now, I'm still hoping to go in April. We'll see what happens in our year. Thank you so much. You guys are making an incredible difference over here, and you don't know it. You just can't see it. I'm sorry it's been so long since we came. We'll come more regular if you want us
Let's say they've got a basket on the table for
to.
donations.
We do, like I said, we're fundraising right now for the bicycles. That's what we're focusing on. However, if you don't want the money to go to the bicycles, you want to donate, just let me know. We have an ability to donate online on our website, the website. We have Venmo and we have PayPal. You know, checks, or, you know, we do some of the craft shows around here and stuff, and we bring items home from Uganda, from their crafters. And then we sell those and then put that money into, I didn't know if I should burn them today or not, so I didn't. But we do festivals around here, so like, the Defiance Art in the Park, we usually are there, and some other ones, and we try to post where we're at, so if you ever want to come see what we bring home.
So if we make a donation online, can we specify
Yeah.
for a bicycle?
You can, I just figured out how to use it, because I'm old. But I finally have it set up where you can specify what you want to go to, and you can even do monthly on there. So you can do one time, you can do monthly, you can do specific. If you have any problems with that, call me, my name's on all the brochures and the phone numbers on the business cards. I should mention too, that plaid tablecloth out there is actually the blankets that they use. So you can kind of see what they use for
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
He said he wanted to go back. He come back.
Be careful what you say.
All right. Just a announcement